There is a quiet death happening all around us. Not the kind they bury in cemeteries, but the kind they bury inside, dream slowly, silently, every single day. It begins when we trade imagination for routine, when we stop asking, what if, and start settling for, that's just how life is. It begins when we abandon the fire for safety, when we choose comfort over calling. That's the death of the extraordinary, and it happens long before the end of life. But you weren't born to be ordinary. You weren't born to play small, to blend in, to mimic the crowd, to echo someone else's vision. Earl Nightingale once said, "The opposite of courage in our society is not cowardice, it's conformity." And conformity-blind, dull, lifeless conformity is the disease of the modern mind, because most people don't live. They function, they move, they operate, but they don't truly live. They copy what they see. They follow rules they never wrote. They aim for goals they never chose. And then they wonder why they feel empty even when everything looks fine. But here's the truth. The ordinary is a cage built out of invisible bricks. The bars are made of fear, doubt, distraction, comparison, and noise. And that cage, it doesn't need to be locked because most people never try to leave. But you wouldn't be here if you weren't meant to break out. You're here because something deep inside is restless. Something in you still believes. Something refuses to go numb. That something is you. And today, we don't ask for permission. Today, we don't wait for the perfect moment. Today, we break free from the ordinary. Mindset, belief section, philosophical and commanding. The most dangerous prison is the one you can't see. It lives in the mind. It hides in thoughts like, I'm not good enough. It's too late. What if I fail? This is just the way life is. These aren't thoughts. They're programming. Somewhere along the way you were taught to shrink, to avoid risk, to obey, to perform for approval, to fit into a world that was never designed for greatness, only for compliance. But understand this, you were not given the gift of consciousness to be a copy of someone else's life. You were not created to be a passive participant in your own story. Earl Nightingale understood this. He didn't whisper about possibility, he declared it. He said, we become what we think about. Not occasionally, not once a year. Every day, every hour, every thought. So let me ask you, what are you thinking about? Are your thoughts building you or burying you? Because belief is the soil of your reality. Plant doubt, reap mediocrity. Plant vision, reap greatness. If you want to change your life, you must first change the mind that's creating it. And you don't need more motivation. You need more clarity. You don't need more inspiration. You need belief with action. Vision, clarity section. Metaphorical, driven by visualization. Close your eyes not to escape, but to see. Because the world out there will always show you what is. But the world inside you, that's where you see what can be. You must develop the courage to picture a life that hasn't happened yet. You must see it before the world ever does. Do you understand the power of that? Every skyscraper was first an invisible blueprint. Every revolution started as an idea no one believed in. Every miracle began as a thought that refused to die. Clarity is the compass of the extraordinary. Without it, you're just reacting. But with it, you become a force. Write it down, speak it out, see it over and over again. Because repetition is the hammer that shatters limitation. What you affirm daily becomes your identity. And what you identify with, you will defend, even if it's mediocrity. That's why most people never rise. They're too loyal to a version of themselves they've outgrown. But you're not loyal to the old story anymore. You're writing a new one. And every chapter begins with a decision to see your life not as it is, but as it could be. Not from the lens of fear, but of fire. Not from limitation, but from limitless. Purpose, discipline section, emotional yet actionable. Purpose is not found. It is forged. It's not something you stumble into. It's something you choose day after day when it would be easier not to. Discipline is the evidence of belief. If you believe in your future, you'll build for it. If you believe in your gift, you'll develop it. If you believe in your mission, you'll protect it. And if you don't, you'll scroll, you'll drift, you'll complain, you'll numb. You'll live like the rest of the world, ordinary, frustrated, distracted, and confused. But if you're ready to rise above that, then understand this. Discipline is not a punishment. It is a declaration of power. It's how you break the habits that keep you average and form the rituals that make you unstoppable. And no, it won't be convenient. It won't always feel good. But that's the price of freedom. Because the truth is this: ordinary is comfortable. Extraordinary is earned. And every time you choose discipline over distraction, you cast a vote for the future you say you want. So get up earlier than your excuses. Train when no one's watching. Work when it's boring. Speak when it's scary. Act when it's uncertain. Because no one becomes legendary by waiting to feel ready. The future doesn't respond to intention. It responds to execution. Everyone wants to win, but few are willing to move. There's a moment, a silent, invisible, sacred moment between your thoughts and your actions. That moment decides your life. Because thinking alone changes nothing. Reading, dreaming, planning, they are nothing without movement. Success doesn't come to those who wait for the stars to align. It comes to those who get up and build a rocket when everyone else is still asleep. Earl Nightingale didn't wait for perfect conditions. He spoke of ideas, but more importantly, he lived them. He knew that a single act, repeated with purpose, creates momentum. And momentum, that's the hidden force the ordinary never learn to harness. They start, they stop, they hesitate, they doubt. They want results with no repetitions, rewards with no rituals. But if you want to rise, you move, you build, you execute, even when the outcome is unclear, even when the finish line is hidden by fog. Because here's the truth. The moment you act, the universe shifts. The moment you move, opportunity notices. The moment you commit, clarity arrives. But if you sit, if you wait for permission, validation, perfection, you'll die in the waiting room of your own life. You are not here to wait. You are here to rise. Gratitude, emotional alignment, grounded yet expansive. Now let me take you somewhere deeper, beyond ambition, beyond the grind. Because without gratitude, success becomes empty. You must learn to honor where you are while building what you desire. That is the paradox of greatness. To be at peace and yet to pursue. To be content, but never complacent. Gratitude is not weakness. It is a weapon. It grounds the mind. It silences the voice that says, you're behind. It shifts your energy from lack to abundance, and abundance is the fuel of the extraordinary. Ordinary people wait for something to be grateful for. Extraordinary people find it in the smallest moments. A breath that reminds you you're alive. A setback that shaped your strength. A lesson that came through pain. Gratitude doesn't lower the bar, it raises your vibration. And in a world built on complaint, cynicism, and scrolling distractions, gratitude is a revolution. You want to break free from average? Then stop looking at what's missing and start focusing on what's working. Your mind is a magnet. What you appreciate expands. What you give thanks for grows. And what you honor in your life will begin to multiply in ways logic will never understand. Resilience, inner strength, deep anchored, stormproof. Still, even with action and gratitude, life will test you. And this is where the ordinary break. The moment something hard happens, they question everything. They retreat, they fall apart, they look for someone to blame. But not you. You are not average. You are forged by fire. Earl Nightingale taught that adversity isn't punishment, it's preparation. You think the greats became great without resistance? You think Lincoln never doubted himself? You think Edison got it right the first time? You think Carnegie was born with confidence? No, they were built in the battle. Resilience was not handed to them. It was earned through rejection, through failure, through trial, through relentless persistence. You must stop seeing difficulty as a signal to quit. It's not a wall, it's a mirror. It reflects who you are, what you believe, and how deeply you're willing to go. And when life hits, you don't collapse. You think Carnegie was born with confidence? No, they were built in the battle. Resilience was not handed to them. It was earned through rejection, through failure, through trial, through relentless persistence. You must stop seeing difficulty as a signal to quit. It's not a wall, it's a mirror. It reflects who you are, what you believe, and how deeply you're willing to go. And when life hits, you don't collapse. You adjust. You pivot, you rebuild. You adapt. Because resilience is not just the ability to bounce back. It's the ability to advance forward, stronger, wiser, unshaken. Understand this. Every hardship is shaping the muscles you'll need for your destiny. Every storm is sculpting your soul for the spotlight that's coming. And every setback is sharpening your edge for the legacy you're meant to leave. Learning, becoming, expansive, eternal, forward driving. Now listen, you've come far, but you're not done, because success isn't a destination. It's not the car, the house, the applause. It's not the number in your account or the name on a list. Success is growth, and growth never ends. Earl Nightingale believed that the moment you stop learning, you stop living. So don't settle, don't stagnate. Read, question, study, reflect. Surround yourself with ideas that make you uncomfortable. Get around people who think bigger, act faster, speak bolder, live higher,